Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope I'm audible till the last row. My favorite seat when I used to be here about 35 years ago, sleeping to glory. But I used to ensure that I never snored loudly because I have the right to sleep, but I never had the right to disturb somebody else who was sleeping. So let me give the same request. Please sleep, but don't snore loudly. Please ensure that you don't disturb others. The topic for today is very simple, pushing frontiers. It sounds interesting. Let me quote an old man who's standing somewhere the southern end of Tamil Nadu, who goes by the name of Tiruvallur, who stands there for a long year. He said something like, it's better to miss your aim while shooting at a rabbit. Sorry, it's better to miss an aim while shooting at an elephant than kill a rabbit. It may sound something like lofty aims or other things. But here's the case. What he said was that he didn't say about, he said about pushing frontiers. He did not say how you're supposed to push it. But he didn't explain that. But he just drew a canvas on which he mentioned that aim bigger. And in case you need to aim big, that means you need to push your frontiers. And in the next few minutes, I'm here to make you think along with you to how we can push frontiers with just 3 simple letters which are spelled as WHY. Okay. My next 15-20 minutes is going to be on these topics. Curiosity in diapers, Zoom's optionals, bombs mandatory, controlled R, not L, different. Hello, can you hear me? About curiosity, the innovation engine, and the very famous statement, the last statements of the movie code, I'm not going to hand over any tupaki, I'm not going to make you handle anything, but let's see what that does. Yeah, a beautiful photograph. What you see on the left is a crop duster aircraft. That means it is an aircraft which is used for spraying fertilizers and other things. A Russian make, 1930s. It was called as it's called as PO2, Polycarpov 2. A very wooden airplane, plywood airplane, absolutely powerless. And you find few beautiful ladies here. So here's a question, what is this? The title seems very good, brooms optional, bombs mandatory. These ladies are some ladies who are called as, let's put yourself in the German tents of the World War II. German camps in tents, if you are a soldier there trying to sleep, and invariably you would have been shaken up, not by anything, either by bombs or just a fear of bombs. And the reason behind them was these ladies. And they were called by the Germans as night witches. But again, this is not just about static facts. Why did this happen? During World War, like all we know, lot of manpower, with quotes, manpower was lost by Russia. And naturally, the women of the country wanted to get into war. But this, we are talking about 1940s. The women in the Indian Army, Indian Armed Forces entered somewhere in 93. But we are talking about 1940s. It was not easy. There was one lady, Marina Roscoe, who was pretty close to Stalin. Not MK Stalin, the Stalin of Russia. So, but she tried. Finally, what has happened is the women were told, stay at home. Right. But finally, by 1941 or 42, the menfolk were not around. And the enemy was right at their boundary. So they had no other go. Why women were there? It was because the menfolk were not there. So the women had to be depended upon. So women were pulled into combat. And incidentally, Soviet Union was the first country to put women in combat, in modern combat. So the why is because of that. But let's look beyond that. That was a masculine world. So what was happening was, can women fight? So they were handed over uniforms which were discarded by the menfolk. The uniforms were not proper. The shoes were larger. So they had to stuff something, paper, rags into the shoes to fit into the shoes. And the aeroplanes which were handed were these crop dusters. It was nothing but a simple an engine, an aircraft with a biplane, a plywood aeroplane. And what did these people do? And why did these women go to fight? A simple question, why? Simple reason is that they were not just defending the motherland, they were also defending their own personhood. They were trying to prove that they exist. That was the cause of it. But of course, how comes different? How do you act? But then comes, why did they do it? What they did was, they did a very simple thing. They used to take off in these airplanes, go into the enemy territory, switch off the engines, glide silently, drop the bombs, switch on the engines, come back. And they were very effective. And why they were called night witches were that when the aircraft were approaching the camps, the sound which was heard was nothing but the wind which was rustling through the frames which were there. So it was a swoosh sound. So it sounded like witches flying on brooms, hence the name of night witches. And these night witches, what did they do? They did something like 15 to 20 sorties every day, every night. They terrorized the night for the Germans. And the German military went about telling that anyone who shoots out any of these night witches will be given an Iron Cross. You shoot on one, you get a medal. That's the sort of terror they created. Now look at this. Why this plane? It's a beautiful question. This was the most horrible airplane to fight. But why this? It was made out of plywood. That means it was not detected on radars. So they fly undetected. Second thing, they were very, very low power. Their speeds of flying were slower than that of the stalling speed of the other German fighters. Stalling speed is the minimum speed at which an airplane can fly. Below that, the aircraft will just fall down. So they were flying at speeds which are lower than the stalling speeds of the fighters. So that means they cannot be shot down. So these people just used to go there, bomb, come back safely. And there was it. But if you look at the ultimate why was a question of defiance and desperation. The country was desperate to defend themselves, and they had to defy the ladies had to defy the odds. So ultimate why was very simple, defiance and desperation. Until date, the legend of these people, they were called as the 588th Bomber Regiment, is still legendary. There were about 300 women in that, and 28 have been awarded medals. One of the highest which can be thought of. I've been a soldier for 24 years of my life, and after 28 years, I just got one medal of mine. So imagine, and maybe my acquaintances, not many, but out of 300 people, 30 of them getting medals is something extraordinary. And it started with the simple question of, why can't we try to do something for the nation? Why can't we try to prove that we are equal to the menfolk? And the days in Russia, the women were called as Matyoshka Kukla. That's the Russian dolls which you have seen, nesting dolls, which go on one on top of each other. So the women were called as little dolls. No purpose, solved. So they were like dolls. From there, they were one of the most awarded in the Russian Soviet military and the most dreaded by the Germans. So the why they did was nothing but a psychological warfare, which is in vogue today. So these people, why their existence was answered by the concept of psychological warfare. They did not let the enemy sleep. That's it. Army doesn't sleep, good enough, the battle is won. The next one, please. Control Alpha. Now let me move to my own experience. I joined the Air Force way back in 1992. I was supposed to be an expert on data handling systems, which is nothing but the computers which you see on my left, PDP-11 computers, third generation computers. Probably people wouldn't have, I don't know how many people would have seen this. This is just one computer, size of something like, I had 3 computers with me filling up almost this space. And these computers were super efficient. The main memory was 2 MB. The hard disk was 2 terabytes. And the hard disk weighed about 100 kgs. nitrogen filled, it used to spin. It's a different world altogether. So these are PDP-11, and that's a radar in which I specialize on. It's a long range, high altitude radar which still exists today, one of the most powerful ones in the world. It is said that people who work on this radar have only daughters because of the radiation they're exposed to. So it's that high power. It's people who get cooked. But here's the interesting story. I started my career in 92. Sometime mid-90s and other things, I became confident of most of the things which can happen. Okay, something goes wrong, no problem. Take out the multiplexer IC, whatever is there, remove it, put it in another IC, it will work. Or reload the paper tape, paper spool, reload the program, it's done. That was the way it is. Or the 18th bit might be bad, reset that 18th bit of the ones and zeros, work is done. So that gave me a comfort level that this is my baby, I can handle it anywhere. That also gave a question of what am I doing? It was getting more monotonous. Yes, wake up in the morning, wake up, do the work, just finish the night. So as an officer of the Indian Air Force, my job was simple. Wake up at 5:30, go for a run for about 5 kilometers, hit to work at 7 o'clock, work till 3 o'clock, come back, have a small nap, play games in the evening, read something, again go to the equipment, have a look at the equipment, go back to sleep. That's it, was continuing. But here came the problem. Why am I doing this? Why should I do only this? So this, but as a stupid soldier I could be, I had the guts to walk up to my chief technical officer. I walked up to him and told, why am I doing this? This is akin to being jobless. I am on a job, but actually jobless. So that person was a mature person. So he was a pretty senior person with about 20 years of experience. He removed me from all jobs. He said, okay, you are a jobless person now. Your job is to go around the entire unit, go and meet people who work. Try to find out why they are doing something. What is the purpose of their job? Why are they behaving, doing the way it's supposed to be done? So this was continuing. So I had a freedom. So I walked into anyone's office, any equipment what people were working on, trying to find out why they are doing it. Yes, I could change a lot of processes. So what happened was, this was somewhere in the central zone of the country. I would say that the central zone, the air defense was strengthened very much. The radars were almost operational 24 hours. It was ready for any eventuality. Everything was very good. So I was literally thriving on that why. I was asking, why is this particular transistor here? Why is this connector here? Why, in case this goes wrong, why are you replacing it this way? Entire thing. Beautiful. And incidentally, lot of these questions which I tried to answer with these whys were adopted by the rest of the Air Force as well. So I would say, my boss, when he gave me a jobless job, it really gave me wings and it really gave the Air Force also a good stability. But after 1 month, I went back to my boss. I told him, yes, these are the things I have done. So he was happy with my doing nothing. So he extended that job by 1 more month. Being jobless, 1 more month extended. So I was trying to do that. So this really did. So that's the reason I used the play of words instead of Control Alt Del. These computers, I've used Control Alt Defend. So this added to the air defense of the country. But of course, asking too much of whys is also problematic. Let me give a flip side to that as well. Between this radar and this computer, there used to be a fiber optic link. I'm sorry if you are mechanical or civil engineers, I'm sorry about this, I'm talking communication language. So, in the fiber optic link, the signal had to be something more than 4 volts to make it a 1, signal 1. Sometimes someone told me it's coming at 1 point some volts, so that communication is not getting through. This computer is not processing the data, that means the radar screen is blank, nothing is detected. So, I asked the typical why, but I worked in the software industry as well. In the software industry, it said that root cause analysis needs 5 whys. But I stopped with the first why. Why is this voltage coming 4 volts instead of 1 volt instead of 4 volts? And I was stupid. I just opened the circuit diagram, saw that there were some amplifiers and other things, changed the biasing of the transistors, didn't correct the problem, made the signal come at 4 volts or plus. Presto, it was working, magic. But in Air Force, fortunately, every such modification is reported to higher levels. So someone had the sense at the higher level. They said, this is not the way to maintain a system. You can't change the circuitry. If the circuitry goes back, repair it, not completely change it. A rap on my knuckle was given. I was given, put back to job, stating that enough of your foolish jobs. Your why is sufficient. Go back. So I would compare this why with, I think we missed out the first slide, curiosity in diapers or something like that. Before this. Yeah, I missed out the slide sort of thing. So I was behaving like the child who asked plenty of questions. Let's put it this way also. When we grew up as children, we used a lot of questions. Like some of them later, why do we have to sleep? Why do birds fly? Why is the idli slightly thick? Why is the dosa thin? Why is that you go to work? Why is that I have to go to school? Why I have to sleep at the night? Multiple questions. So what used to happen? Like, I've been a parent, I'm still a parent, and few of people are here, and a lot of people there have been children in the recent past. So in case you ask your parents 47 questions, so what will happen? Somewhere at the 23rd question or something, there used to be 2 responses. Way back in 70s when I grew up, the only response was, that's it. Maybe in 90s, the responses get diverted. But at the 23rd question, the answering stops, or there's a rap on the knuckle. The same way happened to me later. When I asked too many questions, there was a rap on my knuckle. I was said, enough, do your own job. And I put the slide primarily because I remember a movie called as Planet of Apes. It says that human beings stopped evolving because we stopped asking why. Whereas the apes continued to ask why, and they evolved, and the planet became owned by apes. This is a fictional story, but the genesis of that is that the apes start asking why, where the human beings stopped asking why. So, when I behaved like a child, I was given a rap and put it. But again, a flip side was that a beneficial thing for me, a personal benefit for me is that when I passed out of this institution in 1992, I carried a paper which when I looked at it, it said I'm an engineer. While internally I knew whether I was an engineer or not. Good, I was working. That when I was asking the question why, I realized that I'm not an engineer. So I thought, let me become an engineer once again. That curiosity made me think that I should become an engineer. I picked up the GATE question paper. I couldn't understand whether it was Malay or Mandarin or Hebrew or Latin. So I went back to 3rd year. The same. 2nd year, it sounded like Sanskrit, which I don't know. Finally, I had to start from 9th standard. 9th standard to final year, studied, somehow did my PG. So this series of whys helped me in my personal level as well. While I could crack into one of the topmost engineering colleges for my masters. Yeah, we can move ahead. Next. Okay, let me skip this. Let me leave this. Okay. Since I mentioned I went to a premier engineering institution of the country for my masters, there's a typical question. In cellular planning, what is done is, we have a signal problem and other things. So the cellular planning is a typical art involving electromagnetics. It's done in a beautiful manner. It used to be done in a beautiful manner. Based on the demand survey, the towers used to be placed. And then the Maxwell equation theories, other things used to be analyzed. Radio propagation stuff used to be analyzed to find out whether there are signal holes. Or is every part of the coverage area getting the right signal. This used to be the method. And I'm talking about 90s and 2000, where there were signal drops. Then this problem came up. Why is the tools available not able to solve the requirement of people? So, while doing my masters, a few of us tried to answer this question. We flipped the coin. Rather than looking at placing the towers and then calculating the coverage, we thought, what is the desired coverage, and why don't we calculate the other way as to where we can place the towers? Beautiful. It worked beautifully. We were given the initial data of Reliance Communication when they started in 90s. We analyzed it for Bombay, and we resulted in a saving of almost 15% towers were saved with enhanced coverage. So, this why which we asked in that place, this solution we found it in the year 2003. We in fact created a startup which took off, which fell, but a similar product came in the market way later in 2009. So, a question asked by 3 communication students in IIT Bombay classroom resulted in this development of technology. While we developed the technology, of course, we could not create a company. That's a different thing. So that's because while we answered the question of why, we could not answer the question of how and what. Next one, please. Yeah. Now moving to the main important part of it. So we may speak about why, but why is the need for this why? If you look at humankind, every important movement, every important innovation, every important development, every new invention was because someone was curious. Let me take the same field in which I am, aerospace. Centuries ago, someone must have definitely asked the question, why do birds fly and why can't we? A lot of people did think of it, but the answer was that, okay, that's the way it is. Humans cannot fly. This question persisted for years. The curiosity persisted for years, which I named as curiosity engine. The curiosity engine is firing up a lot of things. And somewhere down this line, someone did not just ask question, they experimented. When they experimented, the curiosity transformed to experiments. The experimentation was done, some experiments failed, some experiments succeeded. So successful experimentation became ideas. So when you take it to aviation, maybe this question why became experiment, became Bernoulli's theorem, and finally became an airplane. So it's the curiosity which gives birth to invention. Curiosity became experiments, experiment became ideas, ideas became inventions. That's it. And someone thought, why do I need wires to communicate? The same question, curiosity, developed into experiments, experiment to ideas, ideas to Wi-Fi, maybe. Someone thought, why should transportation means owning a vehicle? This thought, this curiosity developed to experimentation. How about carpooling, other things? Then developed to ideas. Then developed to Rapido, Uber, Ola, things of the world. So it's this curiosity which is shaping up the innovation. And same way, sometime down the line would have thought, why is my vada soft, not cooked in the center? So this question, probably the mother would have given a slap. Hey, vada ipdida irukum. Ishtanda saapudu illati get lost. From that point, someone did experiment. Okay, why not make this vada a bonda? So that there are multiple places where it's uncooked or it's fully cooked. Or someone came up with the experimentation, someone came up with a water in the vadai. So the water in the vadai is also probably because of the question why and because of the curiosity engine which fires each one of us. So I would say our very existence in this world is predominantly because of the curiosity. And what better to capture curiosity in a single word which is the why. The next one, please. Great. I'm moving to the last phase of mine, this one. I'm neither Vijay, and I don't think there's any Sivakarthikeyan for me to hand over a pistol to say Tupaki putting a Siva. But definitely, I did like this caption because here there is no baton to be passed here. What is a baton? The baton is our growth. How does the humankind grow? Humankind grows because of, as I said, curiosity. It said that necessity is the mother of invention. But let me go back. What is it? What is the mother of necessity? Maybe laziness. So I would not be exaggerating if I say laziness is the grandmother of invention. Or even if I go back further, it's predominantly because curiosity. So curiosity is the great grandmother of invention. So here's the case. In case we need to create a new world, in case we need to create a better world. So the baton is with nobody else. Baton is with here. There's no one who is going to pass the baton. Fortunately, there are multiple batons. There are multiple Vijays, multiple Sivas who can pick up the Tupaki and say this Tupaki is mine. And what do you do when you have the Tupaki with you? You don't shoot anyone. You just put that simple question, why? Question things with utmost sincerity, with utmost curiosity, with utmost relentlessness. Become a child. What happened between a childhood and adulthood? Where did we lose the why engine within us? Somewhere down the line we stopped it. Let me put it, even maybe in schools we asked, but here while we come to colleges, we became more of, is that the comfort factor? Is that making life more of a checklist? Okay, I woke up in the morning, I've come to engineering college, tick mark, tick. I've finished my third year, I've got a placement, tick. I bought a good house, good car, tick. So life has become a checklist. In case life needs to go beyond the checklist, what do you need to do? It's again, the pattern is there, the pattern has to be picked up. So I would say that the world is not made by the people who have answers, but who created the answers by asking a 3-word letter question, the why. The world is shaped by people who ask this stupid question of why, and this is the pattern, and this is the Shiva, and people here are the Shiva, and this is a gun which we need to pick up so that the world becomes a better place for each one of us to live. Thanks a lot for the patient hearing. I hope that I've been fine.